Today, let me share with you how I made these delicious pupusas made with spinach and extra cheese. To begin with, let me show you how I made the curtido for the pupusas. I got some cabbage and I'm going to dice it up very thin. I'm adding this to a bowl, and I'm also going to add to the bowl some very hot water, and this will be to disinfect the cabbage. I did let it sit for about 20 minutes while I diced up some purple onion, also dicing that very thin. I am going to add in one jalapeño. You can add more jalapeño or seranno, or just omit the jalapeños altogether. And I'm going to also add in some shredded carrots, 2 of them. I'm going to mix this up real good. And to this, I'm going to add in half a cup of white vinegar, some salt, and some oregano. And you can add as much or as little as you want. And I'm going to give that another mix. And then I'm going to add in half a cup of lemon juice, mixing that well. And adding in another half cup of vinegar. And I'm just going to cover this with saran wrap. And I'm going to place this in the refrigerator for up to 4 hours. Or if you want, you could leave it overnight. And now let me show you how I made the salsa for the pupusas. In a pot, I added some water. I brought that up to a boil. I added in 3 tomatoes, a piece of onion, 1 jalapeño. You can add more if you want. And 2 garlic cloves, covering that and waiting for the tomatoes to soften. Once they were softened, I'm going to add them to the bowl of my blender. And to this, I'm going to add a little bit of water from where these cooked. And I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of chicken knorr, half teaspoon of oregano, half teaspoon of salt, and half teaspoon of black pepper. Added olive oil to my pot and let that heat up. Then added my sauce. I'm going to whisk this for a good 10 minutes. And this salsa for the pupusas is done. Add it to your bowl and set this aside. Over here, I have 4 cups of masa. And to this, I'm going to add 3.5 cups of warm water. And I'm just going to be mixing this together until I form a nice dough. You want to make sure your masa is nice and smooth and not dry. And I'm just going to keep mixing and kneading for a good 5 minutes. After about 5 minutes, your dough should not stick to your fingers. This is the filling that I'll be using. I used frozen spinach. What I did was I thawed it out. I used my cheesecloth to drain out the water. And I added some pepper jack cheese and some mozzarella. And I mixed it in together. So now I'm going to grab some of the masa. Now you can make them as big or as little as you want. And then what you want to do is just flatten it like a tortilla on your hand, just by smashing. Want to get it like this, and then you're going to get a good amount of your filling. Just put it in the middle. You're going to close it up, just like that. Pinch on the top. Just go around like that, pinching it. If you have excess up here, you want to just take it off. And now you want to just flatten it. and make it into a pupusa. And over here, I have some water with some olive oil that I mixed together. And I'm just going to add it to here. And just continue to flatten it. And there's the first pupusa. And just continue to do that with the rest of your filling and the rest of your masa. Then I'm just going to start placing them on the comal. And what you want to do is just flip them around every now and then. When you see that the cheese has melted and these have puffed up, they're ready. I'm going to remove these and add them to some foil paper. And I'm going to start covering them up. That way they don't dry out. And now these pupusas are done and ready to enjoy. Look how good they look. Look at all that cheese, all that spinach. The masa is just so soft. And that is it. That is my recipe on how to make these delicious pupusas with spinach and, oh my gosh, all that cheese. Serve it up with that curtido that I showed you how to make and that delicious salsa. Best thing about these is that they are so simple to make. Enjoy.